Here is the story adapted for an American context with Western names and settings while keeping the emotional arc and details of the original narrative intact. Stay with me tonight. I don't want to sleep alone. I'm completely soaked. She turned her back to me quietly, lifting the duvet, and my hand slipped inside as if it were being absorbed. I could feel her body heat against my back, her breath slowly becoming ragged. Without a word, I wrapped my arms around her from behind my hand, slowly moving up her waist. Through the fabric of her lingerie, I felt her heat. She let out a shallow breath and held my hand. It's okay, just go slow. The room was quiet, but beneath the sheets our world was trembling. She was the wife of my best friend of 20 years. But he had long since fallen for another woman, and that night I rationalized my crumbling boundaries with the word love. Before I tell you how we got here, please subscribe and like this story, it really helps. Here is my story. It was the fall of 2023 when I got a call from David. Hey Mike, long time no see, you free this weekend? That's how it started. David was my closest buddy from our time in the Army, but we hadn't seen each other face to face in 20 years. We'd kept in touch sporadically after being discharged, but life got in the way and we drifted apart. The whole platoon is getting together. We're meeting at that steakhouse downtown. Be there. His voice was as booming as ever, and I agreed without hesitation. That day, Chicago was painted in autumn reds and oranges, the air crisp and cool. I arrived a little early and started seeing familiar faces. Everyone had put on a few pounds and gone a little gray. Looking in the mirror, I realized I was no exception. Man, you haven't changed a bit. That greeting was always followed by the joke, but seriously, you look old. We were laughing and catching up when David put down his whiskey glass and spoke. Oh hey, my wife is going to stop by. She was in the area shopping. Something flickered in my memory. I remembered Sarah, the woman I'd seen only once at their wedding. Your wife why? I asked. David laughed dismissively. Just to say hi. She wants to show her face. My memory of 20 years ago was blurry, but I remembered she was beautiful. I found myself strangely curious about what she looked like now. When the door opened and she walked in, I stopped breathing. The warm lighting of the restaurant seemed to wrap around her, and the noise of the bar faded away. Hello, everyone. Do you remember me? At her clear, elegant voice, everyone turned. I'm Sarah. It's been so long. She smiled as she introduced herself, and everyone welcomed her warmly. When we shook hands, hers was warm and soft. That brief contact lingered in my mind longer than it should have. David talks about you a lot, Mike. He says you were his best friend, she said. I nodded awkwardly, feeling my face heat up. Sarah sat for about 10 minutes before standing up. You boys have fun. I'll get going. As she stood, a subtle floral scent wafted past me. That scent stayed with me all the way home. On the drive back, I couldn't get her out of my head. Her smile, her eyes, her soft voice, they kept circling in my mind. I tried to push the feelings away. Feeling this way about a friend's wife was crazy. But strangely, I couldn't remember what the other guys talked about or what steak we ate. I only remembered Sarah. It was a strange flutter in my chest I hadn't felt in 20 years. She had already walked deep into my heart. After that reunion, David and I started texting and hanging out frequently. I was happy to reconnect with an old friend. Hey, found a great BBQ spot. Let's go this weekend. David was as casual and friendly as he used to be. We drank on weekends, sharing old war stories and laughing. But at some point I noticed something was off. The old David would have talked about his wife first. My Sarah this, my Sarah that. He used to brag about her constantly. But now he didn't mention her at all. Instead, new names kept popping up. We got this new intern at the firm, totally my type. We went for drinks, just the two of us, and I think she's into me. At first, I thought it was just locker room talk middle-aged men making immature jokes. But as time went on, it got more explicit. Girls these days, you treat them to a nice dinner and they fall right over. One day we were at a sports bar. David was glued to his phone, grinning. I glanced at the screen and saw texts that were clearly crossing the line. David, meet tonight. Her yes baby waiting for you. I was speechless. Was my friend actually cheating? My head was spinning. Hey, Dave, who is that? I asked cautiously. He laughed it off. Just a junior associate. We need to discuss some cases. It sounded fake. His expression was awkward, his eyes shifting. It was the classic look of a man hiding the truth. That night I came home with a heavy mind. I thought of Sarah. What was she doing right now? Was she smiling that warm smile? I was confused why I was even worried about her. Did I have the right? Still my heart went out to her. Was she alone? Was she lonely? Was she crying? I started to resent David's indifference, leaving a wife of 20 years to rot like that. Since that day, something inside me began to shift. It was a calm Sunday afternoon. I was grocery shopping at the local Whole Foods. I was putting vegetables and eggs in my cart when I heard a familiar voice. "Oh, Mike." I turned around. It was Sarah. My heart nearly stopped. "Oh, hi, Sarah. Fancy meeting you here." My face brightened involuntarily. She smiled. "What a coincidence. Do you shop here often?" "Sometimes. I like the selection." She was pushing her cart alone. "David didn't come with you?" I asked naturally. She smiled faintly. "He's busy with work. He comes home late even on weekends these days." Her voice trembled slightly at the end. "Are you okay?" I asked. She nodded, but her eyes were sad. "I'm used to it now, even shopping alone." That sentence stuck in my heart like a thorn. "There's a cafe inside the store. Want to grab a quick coffee?" I suggested carefully. Sarah hesitated for a moment, then nodded. "Sure, I'd love that." I didn't want to go back to an empty house just yet. We sat in a quiet corner by the window. Between two warm coffees, a silence hung in the air. "Since David is so busy, you must be lonely," I said. She blinked rapidly. "Actually, very much so. He used to at least talk to me." She swirled her coffee cup slowly. "Strangely, even when we're in the same house, there's no conversation." I was stunned. "There's nothing else going on, right?" I asked cautiously. She avoided my gaze. "Why do you ask? Just David seems different lately." She went silent for a moment. "Actually, I feel it too, that things have changed." Her voice was small and my heart raced. "But I have no one to talk to about it." She smiled, but it looked painful. "If you're okay with it, can I check in on you sometimes?" I asked. "Really? Is that okay?" Her eyes widened in surprise. "Of course. I'm David's friend, but I'm worried about you as a person." We exchanged numbers. My hands shook as I saved her name. "It was really nice seeing you today," she said as we parted. "Me too." And for that moment, it wasn't a lie. After that day, contact with Sarah became frequent. At first, it was just polite check-ins. "How was your day?" "It was fine. How about you, Sarah?" She often mentioned being alone. "Eating dinner alone again." Every time I read those words, my chest ached. I wanted to comfort her in David's place. "It must be lonely being by yourself." "I'm used to it," she would reply. That resigned used to it hurt more than anything. Then one evening I got a frantic call from Sarah. "Mike, are you free right now?" "What happened?" "The power in the living room went out and I can't reach David." Her voice was apologetic and scared. "I'll be right there." Standing in front of my friend's house for the first time in 20 years felt strange. When the door opened, Sarah looked relieved but embarrassed. "I'm so sorry to bother you like this." "It's fine. I'm good at fixing things." The living room was too quiet. No sound, no warmth. "Is David late again?" I asked. She nodded. "Can't reach him. Sometimes he comes in at dawn." I fixed the light fixture quickly, but then she asked, "Would you like a cup of coffee?" It was an invitation to stay. We sat on the couch. The coffee smelled rich, and I noticed her hands were trembling slightly. "Sarah," I said, handing her the cup, "don't try to handle everything alone." She lowered her head and sipped her coffee silently. After a while, she whispered, "Sometimes I feel like I'm invisible." I was at a loss for words. "I don't think that," I said. She looked at me and gave a small, sad smile. "Thank you for saying that." That was the first time I truly hated David. Why make such a wonderful woman so lonely? Driving home, the night air was cold, but my chest burned. Her eyes, her voice, her cautious smile. I told myself it was sympathy, but the feeling was changing shape. After the light incident, our conversations became more natural. I often initiated them. "Are you doing okay today?" She would send back warm replies. "I'm used to being alone, but sometimes I get sad." I started imagining her alone in that house, watching TV on the couch, eating alone. It made me anxious. She felt like someone who had been left behind. When her texts came, my heart raced. Seeing her name on my screen was the highlight of my day. I knew this wasn't just sympathy anymore. I wanted to protect her. But the guilt was there. The 20-year friendship with David held me back. Can I feel this way about a friend's wife? But another voice argued David broke the vow first. He's cheating. Sarah is alone. I'm just comforting her. I rationalized it. I was a 55-year-old widower. I had closed my heart after my wife passed away years ago. Being alone was comfortable, but Sarah was unraveling me. I missed her. I wanted to hear her voice. I knew it was dangerous. but I couldn't stop. One rainy Friday evening, Sarah texted me. "Mike, are you free?" "Yes, is everything okay?" "David is working late again. It's suffocating. I want to get out for a bit." "Shall we meet nearby?" "Yes, somewhere quiet." We met at a small cafe near an old bakery. She was dressed up, red lipstick, wavy hair, a black coat. She looked stunning. "You look beautiful today," I said. She blushed. Maybe because it's been so long since I went out. We sat by the window and talked for hours. She talked about her college days, how she wanted to be a painter. "You can still paint," I said. "My hands are stiff now. I let it all go." Her smile was sad. "Talking to you reminds me of the old days, Mike." We lost track of time. It was past 9 p.m. "It's late," she said, smiling softly. "I'll drive you home." The car ride was silent, but not awkward. When we arrived at her house, the tension was palpable. "Thank you for today," she whispered. "I had a wonderful time." She gently took my hand. My breath hitched. Her warm touch sent a shock through me. "I feel comfortable with you, Mike." She looked into my eyes, her gaze desperate and fragile. I didn't pull away. We didn't speak, but everything was said through our hands. My heart pounded. We didn't cross the line that night. We just held hands in the dark car. But as I drove home, I knew my heart was already gone. A few days later, it was pouring rain again. Sarah called, her voice shaking. "Mike, are you busy?" "What's wrong?" "I fought with David. It's too hard." I could hear her sobbing. "Where are you?" "Home. I'm alone." "I'm coming." I drove like a maniac. When she opened the door, her eyes were swollen. "Come in. I'm sorry you have to see me like this." "What happened?" He came home at dawn again. The smell of perfume was so strong I finally asked him. He yelled at me, accused me of being paranoid. Tears fell onto her hand. "Sarah, don't endure this alone." I held her hand. She looked at me, eyes brimming with tears. "We lived together for 20 years. What am I to him?" She trembled and I pulled her into a hug. She buried her face in my shoulder and wept. Feeling her body heat against me, I lost my reason. She looked up, our eyes meeting. "I'm sorry. I must be weak," she said. I didn't speak. I just kissed her. She didn't pull away. She drew closer, her arms wrapping around my neck. Her breath was hot. It was a kiss filled with 20 years of suppressed emotion. "Mike, we shouldn't, but I can't stop," she whispered against my lips. "Me neither. I'm sorry, but I mean it." That night we crossed the line, and I didn't regret it. Holding her was enough. Our relationship turned into a hidden, intense romance. When David claimed he was working late, Sarah gave that time to me. "Want to come over?" Her house smelled of her scent now. We sat on the couch, holding hands, listening to music. The guilt and the thrill mixed together. "I've never waited for someone like this before," she told me one day. We started meeting at hotels on the outskirts of the city to avoid being seen. "Is this okay? Can we keep doing this?" she asked anxiously. "I don't regret it," I told her firmly. "I feel more alive now than I ever have." But reality was always lurking. Every time I saw David, my heart tightened. "Hey, Mike, haven't seen you lately. Let's grab a drink." We met at a bar. David seemed on edge. "Sarah's been acting weird lately," he said abruptly. My hand holding the glass froze. "Weird how?" "She's brighter. She smiles to herself, like she's hiding something." He stared at me. "Do you talk to her?" "Occasionally. Just hello." The lie came out too easily. "Right. I trust you, obviously." He drank, but his eyes were suspicious. 6 months passed. Sarah was my life now. "Sarah," I said one evening, "I love you." Tears welled in her eyes. "I love you too, Mike." "Is this love?" she asked later, lying in my arms. "Yes, it's the clearest thing I've ever felt." I knew what I had to do. "Sarah, let's think about a life just for us. I mean it. Leave him. Let's live together." She went silent, then nodded. "I've been thinking about it too. I want to be with you. I don't want to hide anymore." David's friendship was already broken by his own actions. I chose love over loyalty to a man who had abandoned his wife. The end came swiftly. David called me one morning. His voice was cold as ice. "Mike, meet me, now." We met at a coffee shop. He looked furious. Sarah told me everything. My mind went blank. "You and my wife. What the hell have you been doing?" "David, I'm sorry." "Sorry, that's it. 20 years of friendship and you stabbed me in the back." He slammed the table. "I didn't plan for this." "Do you know how lonely Sarah was?" "You were cheating on her first," I snapped back. "So you decided to comfort her by sleeping with her." he shouted, drawing stairs. "You're dead to me. Don't ever show your face again." He stormed out. I sat there numb. 20 years of friendship gone. Sarah and David divorced quickly. He didn't fight it. His heart had left long ago. Sarah and I moved in together. It was awkward at first, but we found happiness in the small things, waking up together, cooking dinner. People talked. He stole his best friend's wife. Midlife crisis. None of our old army buddies contacted me. They all took David's side. But it was okay. I had lost a lot, but I had gained Sarah. "I'm sorry I made you lose your friends," she said one night. "Real friends would understand eventually," I said, holding her hand. 6 months later, we had a small wedding. Just family. Sarah looked beautiful in a simple white dress. We moved to a quiet suburb. We walk hand in hand every evening. We heard rumors about David. He married that young co-worker. But it didn't last. The age gap, the financial issues, it fell apart within a year. I felt no satisfaction nor pity. I just didn't care. Sarah is sitting next to me now reading a book. Sometimes I ask myself, if I could go back, would I make the same choice? Yes, I would. A love found at 55 is more desperate and deeper than youth. I lost a 20-year friendship, but I gained a lifetime of love. And I have no regrets.